Halloween
Forever.
Did you guys see that study that came out that that pessimists actually all have the same blood type?
No.
You didn't see that? Yeah, they're all B negative. Welcome, boys and ghouls, to another fucking Minisode of Halloween is Forever. I'm Brian.
I'm Meg.
I'm Steve.
I've taken. What did you say?
Didn't say nothing.
Okay,
He
good.
just said his
I'll
name.
learn when this comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I have resorted to just corny ass fucking jokes for the intro at this point. I
Full dad mode.
am sitting with what can only be described as just a shit wad of Italian meats in my belly right now.
Cool.
So I just slammed some caffeine and just trying to get the blood pumping once again. Speaking of blood pumping,
Hey-oh.
Oh.
transition guys.
You're really good
I'm
at
a
it.
real pro.
I'm cool
nowadays.
with this.
We
like
are
you
going to
know-
talk about I should probably say, for those of you who didn't watch or didn't listen to last week's Showdown episode, spoiler alert, if you do anticipate listening to that and you don't want it to be spoiled, we did haunted house showdowns, a bunch of haunted house spooky ass movies that we watched the week of Halloween and then discussed them. And then that was released that first Monday in November. So that was our Showdown episode for November. And Steve brought home the strap
Yes.
once again. So he got to pick the quote unquote punishment film that he's going to
Yes.
inflict upon us.
He is not as kind of a leader as I was.
Yes.
I thought this is very much a fun movie.
This was fun. Well, I'm
It was
eager to
fun.
talk about it because Meg and I were talking a little bit while I was jamming caffeine down my gullet downstairs. And it is fun, but it becomes sensory overload after
Yes,
a
it
while
does,
a little
yes.
bit. Well, we'll get into it. We're going to talk about a little flick called Tokyo Gore Police. From what year do we recall?
2008.
2008, the year of our Lord, 2008, Tokyo Gore Police, which if
I
you
don't
haven't-
think there's any God involved in this one.
no, probably not. It is absolutely batshit bonkers, but we will get into that flick here in a few goddamn minutes. But we got all kind of weird snacks and
Life
and
is real weird.
spicies and fishies and beersies and all types of stuff. Well, let's talk about the beersies first. I'll go first because I never go first. I always put one of you guys on the spot. I am drinking just an old standby, right? From Toppling Goliath, Pseudo Sue. I just, you know what? I was in, like I said, I'm full,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
and I just thought, you know, something kind of like bright and kind of fresh and tropical sounded kind of appetizing to me.
Yeah.
So I went with that.
Also,
Right.
it's like only 6%. It's
Yeah.
not going to like weigh you down.
No, it's
Right.
not crazy. It's not like hyper carbonated or anything like that. It's just kind of soft and round and tropical and perfumey. And I just felt that was
I
an
just always
appetizing
appreciate their
palate
artwork. I feel like for
Mhm.
the most part, our cans tonight all have really awesome, fun artwork.
Yeah, it seemed to be in a similar vein almost. Certainly that yours and mine for sure.
Yeah,
it seems
yeah.
like they could be cousins and white. What are you drinking, Meg?
Yeah, I have a can of Gumball Head by Three Floyds, which, if you don't know, it's American wheat pale ale. Super, I don't know, it's like always a good standby. Whenever I get a can, I get really excited. I think the only other thing by them that I get more excited by is that space station middle finger,
Mhm.
and I always love that one too.
Yeah.
But I just love their beers because I feel like they don't really always try to go after the hype. They try to just like create really delicious beers that you could like, I can buy this over and over
Which
again.
back in the day where they were the hype brewery.
Right.
though.
They
I remember-
were, yeah.
When I
OG
remember
Metal Brewery
getting
too.
Gumball Head and Dark Lord and shit like back in college and like the early 2000s. That was shit we like, you know, gave our fucking right hand for, and we traded for it online. I remember driving up to beautiful Munster, Indiana on a couple of occasions to
Yeah.
fill up our car with beer. Gumball Head, yeah, totally
Sweet.
underappreciated beer. I feel like most kind of contemporary beer nerds, like, do they even know what that beer is? I feel like we had this conversation
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
like that's such a like what's that Facebook? There's like a Facebook beer page that I frequent sometimes. There's tons of people on it. I think they call it Old Money Tickers or something like that. Are you part of that one?
No.
Where it's just talking about, it's like basically like a joke about like drinking all these like beers that were like hype bombs in like the early to mid 2000s.
So
and all
it's
this
like
stuff.
trading penny stocks.
Yeah. And
What was the victory deal? Like, or Hop Devil. Like that was like super hype when
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
first
yeah.
getting craft beer. It's
dude, I
just,
remember going to here completely off
We definitely got
topic
railed, but I'm
Vienna
cool with it.
story. Story about Hop Devil. I was in Vienna, Austria,
okay.
and I was at a brew pub, and they've got all their own beers on tap, and then they have Victory Hop Devil, and I was like, "Wait, is this just a weird coincidence? It's a beer with the same name?"
Mhm.
And then I go up to the bar, I look, and it says Pennsylvania, USA,
Yeah.
and I'm
funny.
like, "What the fuck?" It's the only guest tap,
Right.
And so I asked and it was like weeknight late, not a lot of people in there. And I asked the bartender, I was like, what's up with, I was like, I'm from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
This is so fucking bizarre. He was like, yeah, our brewmaster and owner went to college or studied abroad or
Okay.
something
Mhm.
and fell in love with this beer.
That's
And it like
awesome.
inspired him to homebrew. So he has his own version of his clone of Victory Hop Devil and Victory Hop Devil on tap all the time.
That's awesome.
In
I
fucking
kind of really
Vienna.
love that.
It was
I don't
so
know.
bizarre.
I feel like I don't know if you guys remember during that period, because I think we were all kind of into craft beer then, of like the hype thing at that point was how could a brewery assault your mouth so bad
Yes.
with like the bitterness?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was Hop Devil. But I also kind of took it as this like point of pride of like, yeah, I can fucking do
Yeah,
all
it was
the
Stone
onions.
Ruination. It was like
Palette Wrecker, Green Flash.
Yeah.
Palette
And then-
Wrecker.
Oh my gosh.
Also from Victory, Dirt Wolf.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
one was rough. I love that one though.
Yeah, they still make that one, I think.
Yeah.
don't they?
Yeah.
The other one that was way back in the day that I don't think they make anymore was a beer called Hopsicle from Moylan's.
That sounds familiar.
So Moylan's Hopsicle was the original, I think, not on purpose hazy beer, but it would literally it was they had it in, I think it was in bombers, 22-ounce bombers. For some reason I'm remembering it corked. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Anyway, it had a fucking like inch of sediment on the bottom of the bottle sitting on the shelf, and we'd see it at Vintage Estates and be like, oh, look at that shit, so gnar, bro. And then you're just drinking fucking Trube and hop. There would be whole fucking leaves of from hops, like, because they used whole cone hops.
Oh God.
It would literally be like a leaf. It wouldn't even be. It would be like a fucking bract would be floating around in the bottle.
Yeah.
It was like homebrew. It was like the dregs in the bottom of a fucking keg of like double IPA homebrew. And we were like, "This is the shit, man. This is fuck you up, bro."
So good.
One scoop of Trube in every bottle.
2 scoops of cones. You're gonna be picking them out of your fucking teeth.
Oof.
What do you got, Steve?
I have basically, I mean, we've gone through how you have your like Nunkin and your Sam Adams are your kind of base level pumpkin beers. Well, I went back to kind of an old favorite of the Lancaster baked pumpkin ale. And it's just, it's pretty simple down the middle pumpkin ale. It's got the 7.5 on the ABV, which I didn't remember.
Yeah, I didn't remember
I was
being
like-
that big either.
I was like, that's a bit big. I didn't understand that. But yeah, it's malty, it's flavorful, it's got, you know, a little bit of that cinnamon kick to it. But overall, yeah, it's fine.
It's got a very festive, Thanksgiving-y label art. It's literally just a big old cartoon pumpkin pie on there.
Yes.
I want to go to a Thanksgiving meal where the dessert is like a beer like that. You know, I feel like maybe that's
my
my
house.
future. Yeah, I was gonna say like I feel like maybe that's my future, but I've never been around.
You know what? I love pumpkin pie, but once you've had sweet potato pie, you're kind of like, pumpkin pie's a shittier version of sweet potato pie.
You know, I really do. I can agree with this that I feel like sweet potatoes are the far superior starch for the holidays. But like, and when I was at Rock Bottom, I specifically wanted my holiday themed beer to be one with sweet potatoes, and I called it Mash Hysteria, which you guys probably can really appreciate. And it was just like, oh yeah, definitely played on Night of the Living Dead on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, but people still get weird. I was like, I could tell you there's pumpkin in it, you wouldn't fucking know the difference. But also, I feel like it's underappreciated that I don't feel like people loved it as much because it said sweet potatoes versus pumpkin.
Yeah.
It's like,
Sweet potato, yeah, because they don't necessarily think of it, because people don't realize what they're craving in a pumpkin flavored something isn't the flavor of fucking squash.
No.
Right.
It's the flavor of cinnamon,
Brown
nutmeg,
sugar,
clove, maybe some brown sugar, caramelized types of flavor, maybe some ginger, something warming spices associated with pumpkin pie. And yeah, sweet potato pie. When my brother moved down to Nashville, and we had sweet potato pie down there at one point. I don't remember what it was. I was like, oh, wait, no, this is fucking just a better version of pumpkin pie with sorghum paste on
I
or
don't
sorghum
think I've ever
syrup.
actually been served a sweet potato pie, but I mean, the moment you said it, I'm like, I still think it's a superior starch.
I'm saving you a piece this year.
Hey,
It's
but
so
I did
fantastic.
enjoy tonight pumpkin kimchi from
Huh.
Pittsburgh.
Oh, shit.
Interesting.
What is it?
Soju?
No, it's the briny. Like they do pickles and stuff like that, but they have a food truck.
Pittsburgh Pickle Company?
No, it's not Pittsburgh
No.
Pickle. It's man, I'm gonna feel like
There's so many, we actually have a whole bunch of different Korean places around here anymore, because we have Soju, Boonseek, the food truck, and then there's a couple other ones that are brick and mortar. I don't know which one she's talking about though.
No.
So I might learn something.
Oh my god!
I've never had pumpkin kimchi. I've had pumpkin curry.
Yeah.
We used to get from Nikki's Thai Kitchen. Used to do
yeah.
that pumpkin curry was really fucking good.
I've had that. That's good stuff.
But in any case, we'll come back to that.
Yeah, it's not important, but I'm just saying, enjoyed. Pumpkin kimchi was fucking
I'll
delicious.
fuck with any kimchi.
I believe
let's
it.
be real. It was
I believe
delicious.
You could put rubber bands and kimchi it, and I'll probably eat it. I don't give a shit. So we have some different here. I'll let you do the honors here.
Cool.
You could talk about these a little bit.
Sweet. So, guys, we got our first snack package.
All right.
Oh my god! People send me your
All my
snacks.
wildest dreams are coming true. People are sending us snacks.
It's all this
Shout out
is.
to
This
our
whole thing is a
friend.
grift for snacks.
That's
People haven't
literally
figured
the
it
only
out
reason
yet.
I started this is for free snacks.
Yeah, shout out to our friend Jen Strang. She just
What up,
moved to
Jen?
Seattle. And
I didn't know. I knew she got a new job, but I knew she moved to Seattle.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm very excited for her. I know,
Yeah.
she, you
Jen's
didn't watch
awesome.
her epic journey traveling across the country with her cats.
Oh Jesus.
Damn.
Jen and I had a lot of grad school classes together, and went to night school at Point Park
Okay.
in grad school, and had a lot of beers before and after class together.
Yeah. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
She's great. So she sent us some snackies, which I actually think I have one more in my bag. But the first one we're going to talk about is we have some salmon candy.
Mhm.
So these look like they got some brown sugar on them. They're going to be a little bit savory, a little bit sweet. So we're going to dive into that.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, she sent another thing of salmon jerky, but it is smoky jalapeno pepper king. I feel like
And these are all from Totem's. That's from the same place, right?
Totem's, Smokehouse,
Totem
yeah.
Smokehouse in Seattle's Pike Place Market. All right, let's grab the candy. Let's get the sweet one open here. Smells sweet, a little fishy, in a good way. I like fishy things. I'm a fan of all things fishy.
I don't think that's going to go well with my pumpkin beer.
Nope. Nope. That's actually the idea of having it with pumpkin beer makes me want to barf a little bit.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't love it.
Yeah.
Side story. So when I was a child, my dad was in the Coast. He was in the Coast Guard, and we lived in Alaska. So he always got very obsessed with salmon jerky and stuff like that.
Mhm.
A few years ago, I got this care package around my birthday from my dad, and it was a bunch of salmon jerky for my birthday.
Yeah.
And I was like, Dad, you don't know me at all. But I was like, well, these are going to be great dog treats. Yeah. But so this just reminding me of that because I find it funny that, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys like
I'm
salmon?
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I like fishy things. I love any manner of fish eggs. I love any manner of,
I don't go
of
that far.
oily fish things. If I go to a sushi place, I'm like, tell me what about all your fish eggs?
Mhm.
I love uni. I love
Okay.
any type of roe, caviar. I love fatty, fishy things. This is obviously not fatty. This is a little
Right.
more lean, but it's good. The sweetness is a little. I think I would like a savory, spicy more than I would like a sweet.
Okay.
The sweet, it reminds me of a maple glazed,
Yeah.
broiled salmon,
Right,
or
right.
grilled
Yeah.
salmon, which is fine. But I think I would rather a spicy, savory.
I definitely feel like salmon, too, has a very distinct taste.
It's
And
very
I feel
yeah.
like sometimes
fatty,
it can be
oily,
you either kind of love it or you hate it, you
Yeah.
know? And I mean, I don't know. I've always been in the middle. Like I love it sometimes and very specifically, but
Yeah, I mean, like most whitefish is pretty. It just has no flavor.
Yeah, it's pretty mild in general.
So it's like only really fatty tuna and like salmon really stick out. Really,
I love mackerel. That's my that's the one when I'm in the mood for like somewhere and I'm getting like sushi and I want something that's like kind of a little bit more intensely savory and fishier and like of the sea, I'll say. Mackerel is like one of my go-tos as well. I love grilled mackerel as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely get down on some salmon. I made like a salmon Caesar salad earlier in the week.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah,
nice.
yeah. I love fucking smoked salmon. Like salmon and like bagel, cream cheese, lox, capers. That's like our like Christmas Eve morning meal a lot of times.
Nice.
Like we have like family in town staying with us, whatever. We'll bake bagels and usually don't make. I have made smoked salmon before, but I'm not good at it really. It's dry, so then I just kind of flake it into a dip. Usually I make it if I'm going to make like, but you can make smoked salmon cream cheese. We're getting so bougie. Normally we're eating gas station trash.
Hold on. I'll bring it back down for us. One of my favorite poverty meals is mustard herring and rice.
Oh I love fucking pickled herring.
You guys can go fuck off right now. This is triggering to me right now.
Now this is a little much, but even because I went there with several people before and no one else eats it, but there's one of my favorite bars in the world. It's a place called Lashitz in Chicago.
I've been there.
Yeah.
This is like the place I think
old German bar.
I've been there.
They get wild, obscure German, fresh German beers that like you don't get anywhere else on tap there. So I used to go there for work a lot, and a lot of friends in Chicago. We would go and drink a bunch of beers, and they have really great food, German food and stuff like that. But they have creamed herring.
Oh Jesus!
And it's pickled herring with like mayo, sour cream, black pepper. There might be capers in there, and then just a sleeve of Ritz crackers.
Oh, okay.
And you just eat it with that. It's like one of the best beer foods.
Yeah.
It's creamy, it's salty, it's sour, it's
I'm not gonna say it. Like I wouldn't not try this. So yeah, I don't know if I ever told you that story where I was like when I was moving back from Oregon, I happened to stop into Chicago to go to Half Acre, and that place was really close by.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need fucking food, and I stumbled into it, but I like forgot about it for a while, and then like found it out. But anywho.
Oh, it's so great. It's so great. A lot of times when I'm in town, like a bunch of my friends that currently or used to work for Cicerone or that some of the Dove, they're now a lot of them work for Dovetail and hang out Dovetail and stuff now. That's like a good haunt that we go to.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna say I am mildly haunted by herring in general. Haunted
by herring. That is an album name, boys and girls.
My family is like pretty Swedish.
Yeah.
So like I think as we've tried to like really embrace more traditions, especially around the holidays.
You guys like eat it on like tree bark with like microgreens and like
pretty much.
What's the booze? What's the Swedish booze? Aquavit.
Oh,
is that
that's Norwegian.
Oh,
that's like
Norwegian.
Norwegian.
Pardon.
I do have some aquavit though, so I could bring that to a holiday.
Aquavit.
I would actually we do like so weird traditions. Probably is better for a holiday episode. We do like glug offs every year, but we always have pickled herring, and obviously Corv is like a big thing, which I fucking love Corv.
Yeah. Wait, what's Corv? I don't know.
It's like a potato sausage, but sometimes they make it with like barley, but it has like nutmeg in it.
Is it in like a animal casing?
Yeah,
but
you
then
can.
It's potato
you can make
and
it.
Stuff.
I've made it in a loaf before, but like you can make it as like next time I go to home, I will bring you back. You guys will both actually really appreciate it.
So it's like half and half, like half potato, half meat.
Pretty much, yeah. But they also sell a barley version of it and just like a straight meat version of it.
Interesting.
But the potato one's always probably my favorite. I do really like the barley one as well.
Yeah.
But my dad also, so his father would always go to this like Swedish like club, and they would do herring breakfast for like fundraisers and shit like that. So like
herring breakfast.
Yeah,
pancake
this is
breakfast?
a thing.
No, herring breakfast.
Herring.
Yes. The pancake of Sweden.
Yeah.
So the first time my dad,
the pancake of the sea.
Yeah, the first time my dad asked me to like go with him, it was like on a Father's Day. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go all all in. I'm gonna eat some fucking
Hey, Meg,
herring.
would you like to go to my herring breakfast?
Horty, bort, tort, tort, tort. Just
I feel
walks
like
in
you
the
guys
door.
now have
Horty,
an
horty,
image
horty,
of
horty.
my father right now.
I'm
And I'm not
imagining
gonna
your
stop
father
it.
is the Swedish chef.
definitely-
Right, yeah.
I'm definitely not gonna stop this. So I go and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna eat the herring. It is the boniest fucking fish I've
Yeah.
ever
Mhm.
had.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I'm going to gag. Next time, I'm definitely doing the ham. And I have subsequently always chosen the ham.
But then you order the ham and it's also herring.
Right. It's deboned herring.
Much better than the bone herring. Oh my god.
I
yeah.
every year, like around Christmas time, I get really into like Nordic foods and
Fuck
like
yeah.
culture and stuff like that because they have the best Christmas. Anything Nordic is the best Christmas version because it's always really creepy and cryptic and
Yeah.
weird and
Because it's
fucking
dark
diff-
forever.
Yeah,
Dude,
and
I can
different
get
fucking
you-
gnomes that like have different weird jobs. Like one of them spits in your shoe and the other one like the other one like licks your spoons and
Yeah.
We do have to go to. I think maybe collectively we should just go to Krampusnacht like together or something like that. But no, next time I go home, I'll send you a video or pictures of all the stuff that I can get at this farmer's market. That like this is where I get my core of all this shit. But they always have like a lot of Swedish like get cloudberry jam, lingonberry jam,
Mhm.
like the bunch of crackers and shit
Yeah.
like that. It's
What's
awesome.
cloudberry?
It's like kind of like a raspberry, like a white raspberry.
Learning so many
Interesting.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cloudberry. Sounds like something Little Nemo the Dream Master would
Right.
you know?
Or like something you pick up in Final Fantasy.
yeah. Yeah. Aries' favorite food is
Yeah.
cloudberries.
yeah. So yeah. Fucking Swedes.
That was a delightful tangent, guys. I just
Yes.
want to say. I just
yeah,
want to
we're
say.
gonna have.
Nordic.
I could talk
we,
about
that's
all
a new
the
segment
food.
on every minisode now. A Nordic corner.
We
of
could have a
Meg.
whole
Nordic corner.
episode on my love for beef on Weck. You know,
Oh fuck! I love beef.
Dude.
Well, I used to work at the ale house in grad
Yeah,
school.
I know.
and
It's
they,
like,
they used to, that was the first time I ever had a beef on whack.
yeah, I know. It's just like all this Western New York shit that
Mhm.
like.
I too have been to Buffalo Wild Wings.
I fuck
Hey,
with anything
hey.
caraway.
Mm.
I've
No.
been to Duffy's.
Yeah, no. I'll like one of these episodes. I'll go home.
Wait, you
and I'll
don't like caraway?
No, I like carrot.
Oh,
Fucking, no,
I thought you were
fucking-
saying. Wait,
no,
I
no,
thought
I'm
you were-
just like getting upset over
No,
him being like,
no.
I can go to all these places and get it. And I'm like, no.
You were. I was
No,
wondering
you don't
whose,
downplay
whose
my
comment you
No,
were.
Western
no, she was
York,
upset
like-
at my reductionist view of
Yeah.
Western New York.
But I always like
Buffalo
kind of
Wild
couple
Wings,
it
yeah,
all
got it.
together. I always
Yeah.
couple it all together. I'm like, I'll bring you a bunch of Swedish food and I'll bring you some beef on weck. We'll have a whole fucking party. I'll bring you some striped cookies. Yeah, you don't know what those are.
I don't
fucking
know.
are.
I don't know what a striped cookie is. I know what a Kimmel
It's a
Weck roll
Swedish
is.
bakery thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Oh, what?
I know what a Kimmel Weck roll is, but I
Yeah.
do not know what a striped cookie is. I mean, I feel
I'll
like
bring
I
you all
could
the
probably
goods.
guess. Imagine it's a cookie and there's stripes involved. But is it like I'm imagining like a black and white cookie?
No, I mean,
I'm
well, yeah,
imagining the
it's like
Neapolitan green,
No.
red and
Like a
white.
spinach.
we're not.
Spinelli.
We're
Yeah.
not going on this fucking pistachio.
We don't
fucking
have to.
thing
We don't
again.
have to.
You
I'm
know
just
what?
saying that's what's
So-
in my mind.
But no, it's like it's literally a shortbread cookie with like this like frosting strip in the middle. And it's
Oh,
like
just
a
like the
small,
elves do.
like
Yeah.
triangle or rectangle thing, and they're fucking amazing. But like, there's a Swedish bakery in my hometown that like always makes them, and they have all the stuff.
Interesting.
So bringing Kimlock rolls, bringing some striped cookies, bringing some core.
Have a merry Nordic Christmas to us all. We'll pray to the
yeah.
old gods that they don't
That
come
was
and
a
eat us in our
tangent.
sleep. And,
I'm just now missing home apparently.
It really, really sounds like we're at some point going to have to do the ritual in
Yeah.
December.
yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
totally.
I'm fucking on board.
yeah.
All right. We got our saviors. Oh, now we have our spices, which Meg also supplied here. You want to tell us about this one?
Yeah, found this ranch water, which is a hard seltzer. And I love like agave stuff. I love tequila. Like I'm uber obsessed with. So when I was like, oh, it's a seltzer, but it kind of is made out of agave juice. So in the whole pack, they had different flavors. There's a prickly pear one. There's like just a basic one that had some lime in it. I'm trying to think of the other flavor. Oh, like a grapefruit one. And then the other one was a spicy one. So I was terrified of it. So I didn't drink it. And then all of a sudden I was like, I'm going to bring this to the guys.
Yeah.
So we have a spicy hard seltzer made with 100% agave, natural lime juice, and jalapeno flavor. So I thought it would also be just like a good thing to share.
I'm always curious about like these like jalapeno alcoholic beverages.
Mhm.
There's such a crazy scale in terms
Right.
of like there's ones that I've had like what was it? There was a beer from like North Carolina, I think, that they had a Carolina Reaper beer that I remember I had once, and it like was fucking brutally hot.
Okay.
Mhm.
But then there's other, you have other ones you're like, it just tastes vaguely vegetal. There's no real heat to it.
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I had a Carolina Reaper beer from Highwire. It was like their
okay.
10W40 stout.
Isn't that from New Zealand or some
No,
shit?
no. Highwire. That's North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
You're thinking
What
of
am I thinking of? What's
Mhm.
the brewery from New Zealand? Something Wire. Anyway, sorry.
No idea. But it was fine.
Hmm.
It didn't push it. But then like you think of the habanero sculpin
Mhm.
Yeah.
from Ballast Point, that was always like one of the hottest beers.
Yeah, that had some heat
Yeah.
to it. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah, I feel like habanero can be definitely touchy.
This smells
It-
like it's going to tickle you a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, I really did like all the other ones. Like, I'm pretty sure I almost crushed this 12-pack. Like,
tastes like spicy Sprite.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I was a little worried about it, so that's why I didn't drink them. But I actually liked everything in the pack. I would 110% buy that variety pack again as a seltzer. Like, it's just it totally is up my alley. Like, hits the fucking tequila note. Yeah,
is there.
Yeah.
It's like almost at the forefront. You have that floral,
this like mildly has like sweetness
perfumey.
too.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
if you're getting,
sweeter
like,
tasting than a lot. And I mean,
It's not too
only
overwhelming.
80 calories, but what's the ABV on it? Is it?
It's
So it's only
5.
4%
Yeah, like, it's
as
not high
opposed
at
to
all.
like Truly and White Claw is more like is 5, I think. So it's a little lower, but man, I would fuck with
No,
that for
I
sure.
would definitely drink a whole can of this too.
As a person who hates tequila, I don't hate that.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
not at all.
Yeah.
Not
Cool.
at all.
Oh, I like it.
Successes.
Though I
all
did
around.
feel like when I woke up the next morning, because I did drink like that variety pack right before my vacation, I was like, I do feel like I just drank. I didn't feel like I drank tequila, but it was like the flavor in my mouth that I couldn't brush
Yeah.
out of my teeth
Yeah.
was like this tequila
you were
vibe.
burping. You were burping tequila vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been there, bro. Been there. So, before we get into our next order of business, which is to talk about Tokyo Gore Police, we are going to, believe it or freaking not,
Holy
we
shit.
are going to select our topics for the December Showdown episode. We're gonna be at the mercy of the wheel once again. I will say we're going to do some holiday themed episodes coming up. There's talk of doing a Minisode solely on Thanksgiving, which
Yes.
I am in support of.
Super into.
I think we definitely can do some spooky Christmas movies because I am a huge fan of the genre of Christmas horror movies. But for our Showdown episode, let's let the goddamn wheel decide, guys. So Steve's got
Devil
the wheel.
wheel.
We're going to roll her 3 times as we always do. And then you can check us out on social media and help us vote on which of these 3 topics is going to be our topic for the December Showdown. So you can do that on Instagram at Halloween is Forever, on Twitter at Hallow Forever, Facebook at Halloween is Forever Podcast, and then we don't vote on the TikTok, but check us out on the TikTok. It's at Halloween is Forever Pod. And then if you have suggestions for these topics, throw them our way. We got some good emails in the recent weeks here with some suggestions on them and some DMs and things like that. It's HalloweenIsForeverPod at Gmail. Steve, what is our first one? You made a face, so I'm eager.
It's an interesting face. I don't think people are going to vote for this,
Okay.
but it would be interesting if it did win.
Yeah.
And it's the best Hellraiser movie.
Listen.
Which-
Happy holiday.
Which there are 10 Hellraiser movies,
Yeah.
and 2 of them are good.
Yeah.
I would say if that wins, we have to take Hellraiser 1 and 2 off the.
Probably, right? And
Yeah.
and here's the thing. So you are and I correct me if I'm wrong, Meg. Steve, you're by far the biggest Hellraiser fan, I think, of the 3 of
Probably,
us.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
have only
Yeah.
ever seen the first 3.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I've
There's
only
like-
seen the first 2. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Yeah.
so
That's
I mean,
fine. Yeah.
3's
Yeah.
fun. 3's fun.
Yeah. 3's fun.
Yeah.
There's the interesting thing that happens after 4 is 5, 6, 7, and 8
Mhm.
are all films that were built off scripts that were spec scripts for different horror movies.
Unrelated to the whole Hellraiser franchise.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
they just injected Pinhead into them.
That's usually not a recipe for success.
It's
Yeah.
it's not. But some of them have like good things in them.
Yeah.
You can see like where they would have worked as other films.
Yeah.
Then Revelations as 9 is fucking garbage.
Yeah.
And I would dare anybody to try to defend that one. And then
Now I'm gonna watch
Judgment isn't bad.
Yeah.
It's it was going to kind of take things in a different direction.
Yeah.
I think, but they just recently announced that there's going to be a new Hellraiser movie, so
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing that one. I think it'll be cool. Clive
Yeah.
Barker's back to working on them. So.
Okay.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
No,
Super
I would be interested in. This would give me an excuse to watch all the movies that I haven't
Watch
watched.
one of
in
them.
the franchise,
Yeah.
because I would have to watch them all for the first time. So.
I actually have been doing a recent rewatch of a lot of them.
Well, I've
and,
noticed you posting things about Hellraiser,
Yeah.
so it's like it's top of mind for you.
Yeah, I had been doing a rewatch, and I got through all of them except Revelations.
Really? You just couldn't
I
do
have
it.
literally fallen asleep on it 3 times trying to watch that piece of shit.
Oh
So,
God.
so yeah, you can vote on Best Hellraiser. Our next topic is going to be apocalyptic horror.
Oh, I like
Okay.
that,
Yeah.
especially for end of the year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And
Tis the season for sure.
if any
Tis
of
the
you are
season
brave
for
enough, you
the
can
world end.
yeah, you can try to defend Anna in the Apocalypse.
I haven't seen it. There's a bunch of them that come to mind that are dramatically different tones, though,
Mhm.
Right.
of movies that.
I mean, would we count the Omen films? Like the
Well,
Omen 3, maybe?
well, that's the thing is like, do you count essentially any alien invasion movie in apocalyptic movies? I
Yeah.
don't know. We'd have to lay some ground rules.
Yes,
Because
again.
I can
once
see
again.
Meg is just over there, kind of her tick is starting up over there.
I
She's like,
am.
what are you guys?
Oh no, maybe I'm just like crazy. I'm showing my true colors and talking about how OCD I am. Like, no, we need fucking rules, bro.
we
Like-
need hard rules. All right, and our third one. So we've got Best Hellraiser, we've got apocalyptic horror.
So our third topic is going to be Best Korean Horror.
I like it.
Sick.
Yes.
A lot of my favorite movies, frankly, are in Korean horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a great like 2000s.
Oh,
It
yeah.
supplemented everything that like we got shit as America.
Yeah, the 2000s were definitely the decade of Korean horror, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to announce like exactly how we're
So
gonna do
here's
this?
how we're gonna do this, or what we're gonna do in December, kind of like we did in October, where we did the roulette, John Carpenter roulette showdown. We're gonna do a Secret Santa showdown for December, which means depending on what topic we land on, which I will to summarize, we've got apocalyptic horror, we've got best Hellraiser, best of the Hellraiser franchise, and we have got Korean horror. And what we're gonna do is once we land on one of those topics, once you help us land on one of those topics, we are each going to pick a movie for somebody else of the three of us to defend. You'll know what that movie is, but you won't know who picked it until
Excited.
after you're forced to defend it.
Oh
Yeah.
my god,
Um,
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
for
so this should add a ripple that I would imagine will end in bloodshed.
Yes.
So
This is fights. But that's why you have to hide it. I swear to God.
now, also, I want to be like, if I have to pick one for Megan, be like, what would Steve pick? You know what I mean? Like, I'll be trying to like just to play some fucking mind games.
The only thing I'm now frightened about, because I've said it out loud, is if any of you, I shouldn't even play the hand, but it's like if Hellraiser wins,
Yeah,
now both you know
9.
to pick the shittiest one
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah,
and I don't want that.
yeah. So everyone pick Hellraiser.
Hey,
but Steve's
but
the only one who
maybe-
knows like the lore of the Hellraiser franchise. I feel
Yeah.
like I
It's
don't
not-
know shit about that.
That movie
I've
is
seen the first 3
fucking
movies.
awful.
I've seen the first film probably 4 or 5 times. I've seen the second and third maybe once each. That's it. That's the extent of
Mhm.
my experience with the Hellraiser franchise.
hey
It's
guys,
kind of almost a
I'm,
blind spot for me.
I'm
Yeah,
just
it's fine.
gonna pretty much say, be nice to me.
I think in
Don't
the
fuck
spirit
with
of the
me.
holiday, we should all be nice to each other.
Steve's getting real scared already.
He's
starting to
terrified.
angle.
I just-
He's like,
I just-
I pave up
there's-
too much
He
of my
doesn't want
hand.
to lose the belt.
I
There's
shared my
one-
cards.
It's just that there's one that's such a fucking.
I'm just imagining how Steve laying in bed on Christmas Eve like Ralphie with his blimp, but it's or with his
Red Ryder.
Red Ryder BB gun and his brother with the blimp, but it's Steve with the belt. It's like, hell yeah. All right, so help us vote on that, and then we will torture each other with whatever movies. Our Secret Santa Heart's Desire. That should be very, very fun. So without further ado, let's get into speaking of movies that Steve selected. Steve, get us into
They're fucking
Tokyo Gore Police.
Hells yes. So we were talking about how, like, you know, we had a dry spell in America.
Yeah.
And basically we had to subsist off Asian horror, whether it be Korean or Japanese. And about that time is when I started getting really into Japanese films like Takashi Miike.
Yep.
A lot of his films came up, especially on Netflix.
Yeah.
You could find like Ichi the Killer and
Such a fucking great movie.
Audition. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can find-
Audition's incredible.
Yeah, Audition's incredible.
This has a lot in common with it.
Oh, but
Besides
yeah.
the lead actress,
But yeah, this film comes up, Tokyo Gore Police from 2008, directed by Yoshihiro Nishimura. Like Takashi Miike, if you go on his IMDb page, it is impressive how much shit he has done.
oh, there's so many. I was just scrolling through it last night while I was watching this.
Yeah,
I
like
feel like it's like similar to like when you see like people who are like film porn and stuff like that. It's just like they did one a day for an entire year.
well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing is, I think some of these Japanese directors, like, they do porn,
Yeah. Okay.
and then
yeah.
they also do like commercials, and then they do TV shows. Like Takashi Miike has 111 director credits. I was just looking as I was going through this. This guy has like 61 director credits or something like that.
Shit.
And he was a protege of Sion Sono, who was the guy who just directed The Prisoners of Ghostland with Nick Cage film that just came out.
Okay.
And he also appears in this film shortly.
Yeah.
But yeah, they all have like these impressive, prolific lists of directing films. But this one specifically is much more to Yoshihiro's tastes, I would say. In that,
Or lack thereof.
or lack thereof.
Yeah.
He is very much into body horror and splatter.
Oh my
That is,
god.
it's all body horror and all splatter.
Yeah.
Like
211 and then break the fucking knob off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still just find it so funny, and I already told you guys, but I still feel like this is just a hilarious story of like, I just started seeing someone and I was like, hey, I have to do this for my podcast. Like, will you
Oh,
watch
put
it
him
with
through
me?
the fucking ringer.
Like, will you watch this? And he's like, yeah, of course. And I'm like, cool. And then it was
Gave
this
him
movie.
nightmares.
Yeah.
And then it was
and then you
this
handcuffed
movie.
him. You handcuffed him
Like-
to the radiator.
He's like, just like watching a penis getting ripped off, you know? Just-
Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't call it like a normal like third date movie.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not even for horror fans is this a normal. But I think for us, it brought us back to a lot of our roots.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
severed penises.
Yeah.
We have the disabled getting yeeted.
Of course.
I like how you can break down. You're like, these are classic. Like
Classic Halloween is forever fair.
Listen, penis mutilation, disabled people getting yeeted. For a second, I was like, "What are you?" Oh, that was
Yeah.
my movie.
Yeah, it was head of the family.
Yeah, he did in fact
Which-
get
yes.
yeeted down the stairs.
Yes.
R.I.P. Myron.
Yeah. Just a short synopsis of this movie, though. If you really look at it, it's basically just RoboCop meets the Toxic Avenger meets Starship Troopers.
Yeah,
And like you just mash all that together, and then you have this movie. But
yeah, pretty much. That's a
it's,
good synopsis. Or that's a good synopsis.
yeah, the story is about Ruka, who is she's a specialized police officer, and the police within Japan has been privatized. So now they're just basically like a soldier force, like in Starship Troopers.
There's these wild, like Gestapo-esque,
Yeah.
cops, but dressed in like vaguely,
like Shogunate.
yeah,
you know.
Shogun type of costumes mixed with like Fallout or something
Right,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah,
I did like love like how they presented her when they're just like all these like close shots of like shink with her like knife and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I want to be here for Halloween next
well,
year.
it's
You know?
kind of like the whole presentation is like a comic book or
Yeah.
a video game,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, kind of thing.
Yeah, it definitely has like a lot of anime influence in it as well. But yeah, Ruka is a specialized killer of what they call engineers. And the engineers are these biomutated killers that if they are dismembered in any way, they grow grotesque weapons.
They're like biomutated mechs,
Yeah.
but regular human size
Right,
kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cross of like robot because they grow mechanical things somehow,
but like organically,
Yeah.
like their
Yeah.
eyes turn
Mhm.
into guns or their nipples shoot like fucking acid or
You
something.
know, what,
like
you know what was like reminiscent, and I bet you this movie like caught like maybe could have gotten influence from it. But did you guys watch the new VHS movie?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah. I
do you
can see
remember
that.
like where that? Yeah,
the
the
third
doctor.
segment. Was it the third vignette or third segment there?
Yeah, it's like the third vignette.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there might
and
have been
I thought
some
it was
influence.
just like weird, like overlap. there.
that
It
was
like,
more
really cool.
that was an Indonesian film.
Yeah.
No, that like not Japanese.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah,
But it
it's
definitely
still
had similar themes.
Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of similar themes, and I think you can probably trace a lot of the crazy body horror back to like Akira and Tetsuo the Iron Man.
Yeah, it's very manga inspired.
Yeah.
And what was the guy who did Tetsuyo?
I cannot-
Shinya. Oh boy, his name's right at the tip of my tongue. But yeah, he definitely does that. Like, it's Shinya Tsukamoto.
Okay.
So it's kind of like that idea of like the next evolution of man is
Machine
linked to
and-
technology.
yeah.
You know what I mean, kind of
Mhm.
thing. That's like a pretty pervasive thing that I think did come from probably like 70s manga type of
Right.
stuff, right?
Mm.
Yeah, so it's a but yeah, this one just goes off the rails from there. Like
Yeah,
There are never rails. Let me be clear. There are never rails, and they never exist
Guys,
on or within any
I
rails.
fucking need the rails like I need them at a bowling alley. Like, put them fucking back on
Meg
right
needs
now.
bumpers. Not
There are
only
no
does she
bumpers.
needs rails, she needs child bumpers. This movie, yeah, there is none of that. There's
no
none of
bumpers
that.
on this film.
Yeah,
All gas, no brakes.
yeah. This is one of those movies where we were sitting on the couch watching it, and she's
What
like
the fuck are you watching?
not paying attention, and she's like,
Kids go to bed
she's
right
just
now.
watching she's just looking at her phone, and every once in a while she looks up and goes, Jesus Christ. Like, that's what this movie is. And that could happen at any time in the entire runtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one thing you have to appreciate about this film is the fact that you can look up at any time and something horrific and grotesque is happening.
It's never not happening.
It drags at times simply
Yeah.
because the story isn't structured as well as it could be.
No.
But you still just look up and go, what the? You're 30 seconds away from going, what is happening?
Yes. Meg and I were saying it's weird to say that something that is almost, with the exception of some of the plot lines that drag a little bit,
Mhm.
otherwise the movie moves fast. There's 1,000% action, gore, over the top stuff happening all the time, but you get desensitized
Yeah.
to it
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
after a while you're like, there's another blood sprinkler.
Right.
This is the 8th blood sprinkler.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
pretty sure the budget for the like blood splatter probably equated for like every single actor like that.
Oh, for
was
sure, yeah.
playing.
after
Yeah.
a while, it
It's-
stopped being blood. It
Yeah.
might as well have been confetti.
Could have been anything.
Yeah,
Yeah. That would have been hilarious
Yeah.
if midway the film they just switched to confetti
it
cannons.
was just
That's the only
confetti
thing we could get, guys,
or
was
iced
confetti.
tea. Like, it doesn't matter. It can be anything now
Yeah.
because blood doesn't mean anything
yeah.
anymore.
But it really is like the way you were feeling at the beginning of the episode, full of Italian meat.
Yeah.
Like you
I
can't
just have
consume
so
anymore.
much gabagool in
Yeah.
my gut. Yeah.
You can't consume anymore. You don't want to consume anymore.
Yeah.
This movie absolutely does wear you out. I remember that from like the first time I watched it. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, already. Like,
Yeah. It's an onslaught.
yeah, yeah.
For sure.
I know. I mentioned it to Brian with like the version that I found. It was just like we were actually trying to get the subtitles like up,
Mhm.
but they were still sporadic.
Okay.
So I feel like there was time which I kind of appreciated where I'm like, all right. Again, going to my sensitive creature, I'm like, how do I feel about like what's happening here? You're like, what's the vibe?
Trying to guess
know?
what's happening.
Yeah, I think you could watch this.
No,
with
you
mute
know
on
what's
mute.
fucking
Yeah.
happening. There's shit getting blown up. Like people are getting chopped out. Like
I
there's
eventually
so much.
switched to the dubbed version.
Yeah.
And it's terrible, but I'm just like, this
It's
is
fine,
easier
yeah.
for me in this moment. I don't think the performances are what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing you would miss by like not having subtitles or the dub going is like you would miss the context of the little commercials, the RoboCop style commercials that
Yeah.
intersplice scenes.
Yeah.
I think those are a lot of fun.
Yeah, the
because
tone is different. The
Mhm.
sound design becomes different in those
Yeah.
instances. And
it gives you that kind of richer feel for the world.
Yeah.
You know, just like
it's,
RoboCop.
It's all vaguely Tarantino-ish. What was
Yeah.
what was the movie he did where there was? Oh my God, what was
Kill
it?
Bill?
Yeah,
Is that
no,
what-
no,
yeah.
the one that where like Wolf. oh my gosh, the one where he had all the directors just do the commercials for the fake movies.
Oh, Grindhouse.
Grindhouse.
Yeah,
I have it on DVD. Yeah, where it's like She-Wolf of the SS and all
Right,
that stuff.
right. Yeah, but I mean, like, even in that, like, Tarantino's film was actually, like, the more restrained one. It was Robert Rodriguez one that was, like, all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
But it was, Rob Zombie did one, and Eli Roth actually did a Thanksgiving themed one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why do it's been too long. I have it on DVD. I need to revisit that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you only really saw it if you saw it in the theater as the double feature.
Oh, okay.
Then you got the interstitial trailers.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Just right off the top.
Uh-huh.
Bugging me. Why does their car have a roof of a building on it?
Again, it's back to that kind of shogunate empire, theme of everything.
I was
That's
like,
all it was.
Is this a context I'm missing? Like,
No.
why does her car just have like an ancient looking slat roof on it?
Yeah, it's just the way they decided to stand out.
It's just such a non sequitur decision that probably was a absolute pain in the ass to pull off.
Do they? I mean, Steve, you probably know way more history of Japanese horror and stuff like that. But do they ever have weird themes or symbolism where it's if there's this entire town on top of her car, is it trying to symbolize where she's at? This fucking whole town's in the back of her shoulders because she's this cop. And I mean,
I'm sure there is. I don't really see it in this film, but I mean, there's obviously just going to be a lot of symbolism, and it's probably going to be lost on us because we're not culturally tied to it.
Sure. And I've heard that too, because even just the touches that I've tried and stuff like that, it's the way they see horror is totally different. Sometimes even comedic things at times, granted we even could see that in this film very clearly.
I find that, and again, not an expert on Japanese horror at all, but the reoccurring themes I see a lot are some of the most outrageous and over the top shit is Japanese. And from what I kind of gather and understand, people who know a lot more about this than me, it is because they do have a fairly more kind of formal society where people are a lot more conservative in how they show emotions and desires and all those sorts of things, and you do kind of keep that insular in public. So people, movies that let you experience that in a super outward way are it's a theme that is reoccurring in J horror. And then of course there's a whole series. I mean, obviously Godzilla and all this stuff. There's a whole series of basically nuclear age stuff, right for obvious reasons, because it was just victimized by a nuclear attack by the United States. But so there is a huge huge swath of mid-century to modern day a nuclear panic / atomic age themes too.
Yeah, and even their comedy is also of that kind of upper absurdist, where it's you see it in this film obviously because there's a lot of comedic goofy shit in this film.
Right.
That's it's pretty funty, especially those commercials again. But there's a lot of mugging towards camera and just really pounding things home on you.
Yeah, I feel like British horror and British comedy share a lot of sensibilities because it's their culture is a little bit more formal, a little bit more, I don't want to say stuffy, but you know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe this is an unfair stereotype, but so they do tend to gravitate towards being more absurdist when it comes to comedy and things like that. So I don't know.
Yeah. Another film that's probably worth watching, and it's not overly gross or anything like this film, but Uzumaki.
Okay.
And it has it works with some symbolism because the whole film is about the Uzumaki, which is a spiral, and it's just a town being hypnotized into a spiral, and what it means to them, and it just there's also a lot of weird comedy in it and stuff. So I think it's a good film to check out. But otherwise, I just don't see the symbolism in this film. Maybe.
I think this one's pretty surface level. And most of the things you're getting.
Yeah, I don't think you're.
Here's what happens if this person's lower torso becomes a alligator.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's pretty on the nose. You know what I mean? Yeah.
we have weird sex clubs with piss chairs, and then
this is a human chair giving a crowd a golden shower. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of symbolism in
No.
here. It's not like this is an allegory for some sort of religious text.
yeah, only
Absurdist
the
for sure.
symbolism of just like we're into weird stuff and we'll always chase weirder thrills.
Yeah, snail stripper.
Yeah,
Which I think there's like this level of like, it's not speaking to the same typical type of horror that you see, but like seeing these absurdist things that you're like, could very well exist in certain realms of like this like underworld of life,
Mhm.
like that they're just putting on blast. And I think in ways what I appreciate when you see this type of stuff, like sometimes like the realest things that you can see are like the freakiest things you can fucking see.
Mhm.
yeah,
And I kind of like appreciate that.
yeah. Because you're saying like they have this whole thing introduced into their society of like there's now these weird biomutant people,
Yeah,
and then of course they get monetized in some way.
yeah.
Like they get turned into prostitutes.
Yeah.
Like,
Or like everything comes back to, I think if there is a theme that comes back that is symbolic in this, and maybe it's intentional, maybe it's not, is like all of this stuff still is in some way in service to the formalities of just everyday life and
Mhm.
culture and
Yeah.
civilization.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
you've got crazy bio mech, they still have to make money and pay rent,
Right.
apparently. You know what I mean? Or like, you have a woman who hunts those monsters, and her dad's head got exploded, and she's a secret police officer with a fucking sword that kills people. She's also really touched when she receives professional recognition,
right.
or her coworkers throw her
It's her
birthday party.
birthday.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Despite as nightmarish and dystopian as it is,
yeah, she really likes this like pin they give her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
your advertised, wrist cutting blades, like
That was great.
it's normalization of all that, it's monetization, and it's also just I still like to feel good about the things that happen.
Yeah.
So yeah. Otherwise, the film just kind of carries on of like Ruka is hunting down these killers. The killer that's on the loose is like kind of the main. He's known as the key man,
Mhm.
and he's the one that's turning prostitutes and other people into these killers. And she's on the hunt of him.
Mhm.
There's not a whole lot of story there.
No,
Yeah.
not really.
It's
just
really
I
definitely,
mean,
small.
you
like,
eventually
one to
get
the-
back to this like explanation of. I mean, I don't know. Even hesitate to say spoiler alert because again, there's not a lot of a story to
Yeah.
spoil, but it's the idea of like this guy's dad was the one who was hired to kill her dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they have this
Yeah.
connection because then he was murdered right after he killed her dad.
Right.
And they were both like showered in the blood of their dead fathers or
Yeah.
something. Like there's a connection there, but it's
It's a super loose like Star Wars connection.
Yeah,
Both
yeah.
our dads were murdered, so we should murder the guy
yeah.
who murdered our dads.
Yeah.
And it's like it makes sense in the fact that like her dad was a police officer and she wanted to become a police officer.
Right.
Yeah.
And then her expectations get turned because she finds out that her dad was against the privatization of the force, which turned it into this crazy fascist shogun group.
Right.
And
Which is like insane, like abuses of power,
Right.
and like just like
executing people.
bloodlust. Yeah.
And then, she finds out the person who murdered her father's son, like you're saying, he basically turns himself into a supervillain
Mhm.
by injecting himself with the genetic matter of all the killers in the world.
This is fantastic. I love that they have let me remember, they have like Ed Gein.
Yeah,
And,
Ed
like,
Gein,
all
Jeffrey
these-
Dahmer.
Yeah, but I love how it's Ed Gein, but it's James Jones.
Yeah, it's James Jones.
Not Jim Jones.
No,
James Jones.
you got to label your things properly.
I know, but why is
Yeah.
it not Edward Gein?
Right.
You know what I mean? I was just like, why did you use Ed's informal, but James
Yeah.
Jones?
Maybe
Which is also-
Ed was on the birth certificate.
I guess. And like Jim Jones is funny because like obviously he's like a famous cult leader and responsible for the murder of tons of people.
Yeah.
But he's not.
A murderer.
He didn't do the act.
Right.
He influenced people to do the act. He's
Yeah.
almost. But I guess Charles Manson did the same. And they had
Right,
Charles
yeah.
Manson there too. But anyway, it was just a weird little list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a weird list. Another one I saw was Maria Gonzalez, which I I don't get that
Oh,
reference.
Yeah, Meg, do you know who Maria Gonzalez is? Meg is our resident true crime. I think you probably know a lot more about serial killers than us. But
Maybe
do you know
a
who
little
Maria
bit more.
Gonzalez is? I feel like I know the name, but
Maria
it doesn't ring a
Gonzalez.
bell.
Are you talking about, is she a specific like serial
Serial
killer?
killer? I think
Serial
so.
killer, or maybe she's a cartel leader in
Let
some
me
ways.
actually
The only
double
thing I
check
could come
because
up.
I might have heard a story. Let me just.
But
We'll check back in with Meg.
Yeah, but the fun thing, down on the scene, Meg with the serial killer.
Meg with the killer
follow-ups.
report.
I feel like
No,
I'm like
Meg on the
I
street
feel
with
like
the
this
killer
is like
report.
the weather report. But
Yeah.
like
But so the interesting thing, which I really kind of, I don't know, I kind of like this. It was, I thought this was the most clever thing about the mythos of the engineers
Mm.
was the idea that they all have this key-shaped tumor,
Right.
and he actually puts it in people, and like a keyhole opens up on their body, like
Yeah.
on their forehead or whatever, and he like that's part of the way he like physically turns them
It
into this.
unlocks it.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that's clever as well. And then it's just a little bit of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit. You get a visual storytelling, I should say.
Yeah.
You get a scene where Ruka's mom is also Ruka is shown to be a wrist cutter. She cuts herself.
She kills herself early
More
in the
or
movie.
less.
Like
yeah, I
she's
was like,
in the car and
5
she
minutes
almost
into the
cuts
movie,
her
she's
arm off.
dead.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that's where I was like, it's not like she's just like, listening to Adam's song and like
Right.
slicing herself.
I'm
She is
curious
literally
about
almost
that.
severs her arm.
She went to town on herself. I think it was being over top to be over the top.
It
Yeah.
definitely
Just to
was.
let you know, like, hey, hold on.
Because I was like, oh wait, I thought this person was like a big part of the movie.
Yeah.
Why is she literally cutting
Right.
her own arm off?
Yeah.
And then she gets out and she's like, oh, I put a Band-Aid on. It's fine.
She's fine, and then she rocket jumps to the roof. So
Yeah.
you know you're
Then
like,
she-
all right, we're not.
That's
in the,
when I said this is a video game, when she
Yeah.
literally does a rocket
yeah.
jump.
But later on in the film, you see that she kind of got that habit from her mother. Her mother used to do that,
Mhm.
and then there's just like a smash cut between the scene of her mother having her arm bandaged to a prostitute who has similar scars on her arm,
Mhm.
but that's not what the scene is about. The scene is just like her and her client,
Yeah.
and like her client being kicked out because he was being weird and taking too long.
Yeah.
But that sex worker winds up being she goes to the key man as her next client,
Yeah.
and then you don't see it, but then she comes back later on in the film,
Mm-hmm.
and she has one of those giant wrist cutter blades as her like augment.
Yes.
So I
She's
thought-
an engineer now.
Yeah, I just thought that was a clever visual of
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I
you-
didn't
you-
I didn't
yeah,
honestly, until you just started saying that, I didn't realize it was the same person.
yeah.
But yeah.
Right, yeah, she disappears for so long.
Yeah.
Guys, let's check back in with weather. I'm just
Weather,
like
murder weather on the 8th
Matt-
with Meg.
murder report. No, okay, so I'm just like trying to dive in because I'm like when you said Maria Gonzalez like didn't like ring a bell.
Yeah.
But like this is a very recent like story.
Mm.
Uh-huh.
I mean, from what I'm seeing in this, and it was like this woman is convicted of murdering a 14-year-old Brianna Gomez on
Ooh.
January 3rd. Yeah. So
Wait, what year?
I mean, so this story was put out this like 3 months ago.
Oh, this movie's
That
from
can't be that.
2008.
That's a different
Okay.
Maria Gomez.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
was gonna say
I'm-
this is probably like a relatively common name.
Yeah.
Pretty darn common name.
Or-
Yeah.
Maria Gonzalez.
Gonzalez,
not
yeah.
But I
Gomez.
also then saw another one from Arizona, which was Gina Marie Gomez or Gonzalez.
Mhm.
She's a surviving victim of May 30th, 2009, fatal home invasion.
See,
In
it
Arizona.
still would be too.
Yeah,
cold.
I definitely hasn't been covered on things.
I
that
wonder
I've,
if it's
I've,
just like
watched,
an
so-
inside joke on the things.
Yeah.
It's like
Maybe.
not. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
This
But-
is a new segment, guys, called Murder Report.
Murder report.
Murder report.
Murder report. Report is we don't know. We're
It's
not
like
sure.
that SNL skit with Drake Watch. Did you
Hey,
ever see
you
that?
know,
Where he's
now
like,
that-
"Hey, did you see Drake today?"
No.
Nope.
Hey,
Nope.
guys, but no,
That has
if we
been
make
Drake
this a
Watch.
segment, I will bring a story to the table
Yeah.
every week, and I will try to know.
Awesome.
You know,
Serial killer corner.
serial killer
I don't-
corner.
I also found a Maria Gonzalez on IMDb. So that could be a thing too.
That could be as well. Anyway, y'all know who Maria Gonzalez is. Shoot us a note in the
Right.
DMs. Let us know, because we have no fucking idea.
What is this a reference to?
So yeah. Here's another thing I thought was pretty funny is the fact that these privatized cops, they wear the samurai shogun outfits all the time.
Yeah.
Like when they're sitting like searching a database on the computer, they're in full riot gear.
Yeah.
You're just sitting at the computer
They're
searching
ready
a
to
diet
go.
gear. Yeah.
Every minute.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I started a checklist at one point, and then I just stopped because I was like, I can't keep up with this. And I have head as a soccer ball, check.
Yes.
Snail stripper, check. Living chair gives crowd golden shower, check. Dick bitten off, check. And because I was saying how funny it would be if they did this movie on like the last drive-in with Joe Bob Briggs.
Yeah.
The drive-in totals.
It would have been
What would you even pick?
nightmarish. Yeah.
So then that's what I started doing. And then I was like, okay, no, all these things that I just mentioned happen within 5 minutes. So
Right.
I can't keep this up.
Yeah.
There's
like
too much.
Monster tits, dick
Yeah.
gun.
Alligator torso.
Yeah.
Elephant trunk dick gun. Yeah.
Right.
It's like, all right, I got to give up now. I do like too where they did that because they did the wrong turn cut in half or whatever. There's a bunch of movies that do that.
Oh, yeah,
Freaking 13 Ghosts, does it and
Yeah.
something like that. But when they do that and the two sides split apart, it literally looks like there is an old 70s style sprinkler inside
Yes.
spraying
Yes.
blood out
Yeah.
of a bunch of different holes.
Hey, what do you
It's-
think that job looks like, or how much they pay for you, like blood, sprayer? You're like
the blood spray. I
The blood
feel like
spray.
they did it like with
definitely want that
CO2. Like it was like an SNL sketch when they do it, and it sprays.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like 30 psi coming out
You're
of
like,
there. Yeah, they do the hand in front of the face.
Yeah, you do always do the hand in front. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
it definitely was like coming out at
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
30 psi every time.
What's wild is that effect always
for night
reminds
triggers.
me of a film with Jet Li in it. I can't remember the name, but it's an older Jet Li film, and he is like on the battlefield, and a horse is coming at him, and he
I know.
chops the fucking horse in half
I've
that way.
seen this. I've seen.
my
I don't think
God.
I've seen the movie. I've seen like the meme of it,
Right,
a
yeah.
version of this, because this is like a meme worthy.
Yeah, and he
scene.
chops it straight down the middle the same way, and it just sprinkles up. It's
Do you-
crazy as shit.
I don't know why I just have this thought. Do you feel like there is some sort of draft management esqueness to
Yeah.
the blood spray?
Yeah, Micromatic was on the set for sure.
Guys,
Micromatic was on the set for this. Like they were
why
definitely
this is
balancing like dynamic pressure and yeah, for sure.
well, it's like those are like 30 psi.
I
I'm like,
imagine
that'd
they
be great
had
for
a
nitro
side pour
bears.
font of blood
Yeah.
up there that they
That's
were
the way
just
you
filling
do
You
it.
just
pictures
like
with.
hook up your side pour, and we'll just have blood coming
Just
out of
straight
it.
blood.
Just like a fountain of blood.
Yeah, if you turn it all the way, you get just little splurts.
We're
But
gonna
if you
do a
turn it to
Milko
the
pour.
45 degree,
That's where you do the blood Milko pour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, the vampire Milko pour. It's
We're gonna be influencers now. Next thing we're gonna see is all these red fucking Milko pours.
You know what was really weird though? That like for as much just like over the top amount of practical effects,
Mhm.
they didn't have anybody on set that could do a squib. Like the bullet stuff
Yeah.
was CGI in a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
instances.
Yeah.
It was so strange.
But it-
like I get when they had the fight scene, and I'm jumping way ahead, but the fight scene with the like sword-legged gimp mask,
Mhm.
person, a lot of that was CGI.
right.
And also, there was a couple instances where I was like, "Did they just throw a weird stop motion-y type of thing in there?" I don't. It was just it was animated very strangely. So, but I get why. The point is, I get why they did that CGI. But why did they do a bunch of like bullet stuff CGI?
Yeah.
If you're willing to do everything else practical, like you can't put a squib on somebody. It
It might be something like
might be a legality thing or something.
yeah, it might be a
you know?
legality
Yeah.
or just like how like the kind of people you have to hire to do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm honestly just trying to think of like Japanese
Another
films.
Japanese movie with a squib.
Yeah.
Well, I think like Wolf Guy. I feel like definitely had squibs.
Maybe.
in it.
Yeah.
That was also fucking 30 years ago or whatever. So
Al-
anyway,
Yeah. Also, just I mean, this director does these practical effects himself.
oh,
So
okay.
he does it. He like that's the other crazy thing about like his list is like, yeah, he's directed films, but like I think he just does practical effects on other people's films too.
Yeah.
And like he had like another film they worked on in 2008 I think was more. Well, not. I think it was something else we would have known. I can't remember at the moment. But he's just like, yeah, I'll direct this film, but then I'll also do the effects on this film. And he's kind of like the the Kostansky. You know, the way they do art stuff on huge projects, and then they do Psycho Gorman on their own.
Yeah, let's double it up. We already got all the crew hired. We got the scene. Yeah. I did like the little cartoon interlude too in there. I was like that at that point I was fairly stoned, and I was like, all right, I like a cartoon interlude.
It's definitely a nice break from just the onslaught of like everything.
Let you catch your breath a little bit.
Overall, there are some really, really great just visual shots to this film. Like the one where she cuts the pervert's hands off in the alley and then walks away with an umbrella. That's a great looking shot.
It's a cool scene.
It's
a cool scene.
Really
the lighting's great. It was a cool
Do you
scene.
find that as being a theme with like a lot of other Japanese horror? Or do you feel like it was like very specific for this film?
No, I think they're very good at like doing visual storytelling, especially like
Like
Takashi
quick shots
Miike,
even and stuff like I think I could definitely
Takashi Miike is like the top level of that kind of like, and he's a great visual director. I mean, that's why like Tarantino and Rodriguez have fucking boners for him.
Sure.
So but like it's not a horror film, but watch 13 Assassins.
Oh, that is
what
a great
an amazing
one.
film that
it's
is.
a fucking awesome movie. Did you guys catch? And again, this was at a point where I was pretty stoned. When they have this scene where the guy who is eventually Gun Eyes gets the tumor given to him by, I guess,
the devil?
Satan?
I guess. The devil who had been woken up?
Apathetic Satan in like jammies?
Yeah.
He just has these little tiny horns. He's just like this little short guy. Yeah, it was real.
Bothered Satan?
Yeah, he was like, okay, here you go. It's like someone showed up trick or treating in his house like an hour after curfew or something.
Just very annoyed. Here, go do something with this. Stop.
I was like, I rewound it. I was like, is that happening? What I think is happening?
I can see how if you're very stoned at that point. You're like,
well, and then also the thing because I desperately wanted to happen because I wasn't, again, I like lost track because this movie's like an hour and 50 minutes, not a short movie.
No.
And I kind of lost track and I like wasn't really checking to see how like the remote had worked its way in the cushions under my ass, and I'm like, I can't. There's no way I can get down there to find that. I just am gonna wait. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I wonder how long's left with this movie. And when he does the big long fucking speech and talks about the fathers and the connection and the fucking genes of the serial killers and all that stuff, and he's like, I will be the king of murderers and unite the nation. And he gives this 20-minute fucking story, and then she just cuts him in half.
Yeah.
I desperately wanted the credits to roll.
Right.
How great would that have been?
That would have been amazing.
And I was like, no, it was like fucking 20 more minutes.
Can we call whoever wins the belt the king or queen of murderers?
The
king of murder.
Yeah.
It's like the king of cartoons from Pee-wee. It's the king of murderers.
It's me, the king of murderers.
King of murderers. We'll get those little flowers to sing that in the window.
Oh my God. But they're like dead roses. Yeah.
It's like a Townes Van Zandt song now. Deep cut, guys. Anyway.
Cry later to that song.
Here, I'm looking through my notes. Acid shooting nipples. Railgun that shoots fists.
Yeah.
The hand cannon.
That was rad.
I really liked
like a
that.
Nerf gun.
Genuinely. But it was like doing stuff.
Something
It
from
was like
Final Fight or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I loved it.
I really appreciate it. I don't know if you guys like caught those like TikTok videos where people are like fucking with their cats and are like
Yeah.
and then it's just like, but that was like that in like just a hand form. You
Right.
know?
You're going to
It's
shoot
just,
that at Bruce all day and have him chase
he'd be like-
fists around.
I could just see him like trying to go all kung fu on them like too. Like
I was having a blast early on, and then like I said, it kind of dragged and I started getting desensitized. And then at the end, when they stopped, it's like they stopped giving a fuck.
Yes.
But they were like, let's keep it fucking going
Right.
now. Let's not end the movie.
Right.
Let's keep making movie. But we've given the fuck up. Like when she drives the car through the pile of body parts.
Like
It's
the
just-
movie no
it's
longer
just
has an
dummy pieces.
identity.
It looks like mannequin pieces.
Yeah,
There's like
yeah.
numbers written on
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
And like
yeah. You can tell there's no gore on the bottom sides of some
it's
pieces.
literally just like they had a pile of them kind of linked in there. And
Like
then
we have so much blood left. What do you guys want to do?
it's like they were at the end of like they had another day of shooting and they're like, let's just get fucked up and do wild shit.
Do you think they were taking mushrooms? I'm pretty
That's
sure.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's like they were
legit,
tripping balls
yeah.
and they're like, listen, how about he shoots middle fingers and they catch a cable and spin around and come back and hit him. And I'm just like, the slingshotting of the middle fingers, and they slowed it down to like show we thought about the physics
Right.
of this and we still are doing it.
They give you like 3 different looks at it.
Yeah, yeah.
Just to make sure
The
you understand
stupidest thing in the
how
world
dumb
that
it
makes
is.
no sense,
Yeah.
and they're like, we're going all in on this.
Yeah.
It's the climax of the movie now. You know, they were just sitting around that one night just stoned as fuck and going like, what if it was like he shot him and they like hit a line and go back and they're like, not only do I love that idea, it's the climax of the movie.
It's the top.
Yeah.
But then you say that, but then they go, but what if the amputee girl had swords
Yeah.
for all her limbs?
Yeah. It's literally like me sitting in study hall drawing in 7th
Oh,
grade.
yeah. It's
This is the
notebook
type
drawings.
of shit that I would be drawing. Oh, alligator legs. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like 100%
Alligator
drawn,
lady.
Yeah, alligator. Like, eyeball,
Samurai with blood rocket legs.
eyeball guns. Yes, I've drawn
What if
that in
oh my
biology
god!
class.
Now I'm just having ideas for apocalyptic movies where everyone is just like we're all nubs, but like then we just get like different animal arms and stuff like beer, like body parts.
It's
Like,
like,
that.
it's like those McDonald's Happy Meal toys, so you pull the monsters apart and then put them back together in all different.
Whatever you were petting at the time the bombs went off is what you get fused with.
I'm like a full grown, like I'm the size I am now, but I have like a hamster head.
Right.
This is some Beetlejuice shit, dude. Like Beetlejuice shit.
Oh
Meg
god.
wants to do American body horror.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on board. The one other thing
Got
I
ideas,
noticed,
guys.
and that was the at the point where I was like, okay, the shooting for this movie went on longer than it should have. Is the main cop who ends up being like the main bad guy?
Yeah.
All the other cops are selling it so hard. Like the scene where they're like drawing and quartering
Mhm.
the she wasn't the prostitute, she was like the pimp.
No,
more,
no,
wasn't
she was no. That was the bar owner.
Oh, the bar.
That was the bar owner who was friends with Ruka.
friends with Ruka.
Yeah.
They're drawing and courting her. They're all like eating food.
Yeah.
Scream. Like,
Yeah, they're just hamming it up.
they are chewing the scenery. But then the main cop in like the climactic scene, it's like he can't wait to get out of that costume.
He is Cameron Mitchelling.
He is mailing it the fuck in.
I've got to get off this set.
It's such a. He's like looking at his watch.
Yeah.
Like, I have dinner reservations in 40 minutes.
Which, I mean, they may have shot him in like 3 days.
Yeah.
Because you think everything is in that dark ass warehouse.
That's
with
what I'm
him.
saying. It's all in that fucking parking garage or
Yeah.
wherever they're at. Yeah,
Yeah.
all his scenes are in there. I was gonna say that.
Hmm.
Yeah, they it seemed like, is he a bigger? I've seen him in things.
It's possible. I don't
get a
know
feeling
him.
like he was a little bit of a name compared to a lot of the other people in there. So
Mhm.
they probably had him for
They
2
just
days,
got him.
3
Yeah,
days,
yeah, yeah.
kind of thing. But I don't think I've ever watched a movie that I have convinced myself during the viewing that it is both my favorite movie I've ever seen and the worst movie of all time.
Yes.
Like during the viewing, I'm like, oh fuck, this movie's incredible. I can't wait to tell everyone I know to watch this. And then 20 minutes later, this might be the worst movie I've ever seen.
Yes.
And then at the end, I'm like, nope, that's my favorite movie. I wake up at 2 a.m. That's the dumbest movie I've ever seen. Like, I changed my mind. The sliding
Yeah.
scale was so
it
wide.
just happens
I
over
definitely
and over.
feel like it's one of those movies that I feel like at all as a horror fan, you can't not see. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
I feel like you have to go through the motions
It's been on
of
my
it.
radar for so
because-
long, but I just
Yeah.
never watched. I'm glad
Yeah.
I did.
I'm not to bring mushrooms up again. I really want to watch it like high, like really high.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you
You know
don't
what
have
I
to
mean?
rewatch this one. You can get like one of his other films. I believe it's on Tubi, actually. Meatball Machine.
I really feel like
Very
Tubi needs
similar.
to
Meatball
sponsor us,
Machine
guys.
pop
We
up.
definitely
It is
talk
on
about
Tubi.
Tubi a lot.
Yeah.
Can Tubi sponsor us,
I
please?
think we
Let's go after
probably.
it.
I mean,
But,
I'm thinking about getting a Tubi tattoo.
Okay, cool.
I want to start doing an episode.
Yeah, I definitely
where
want
we
to
just
watch
do
another
Tubi
one of his
roulette.
films. I think it'd be fun. But I
Yeah.
did kind of like Ruka's character for whatever reason. I was just
Yeah.
like, she's just like badass,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah,
She's fantastic. On
yeah,
this.
she's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
No, I honestly thought it was a fun movie. I'm glad. Look at you being very kind.
It makes
A leader. I'm gonna keep calling the person with the belt a leader, guys. I'm
Fearless
gonna
leader.
keep going.
it makes bad taste look like driving Miss Daisy.
Oh yeah.
It
Oh, yeah.
does. Oh yeah.
It
Absolutely.
is like we were watching Bad Taste, and I remember going like, and I'd seen it before, thinking, "Oh my god, this movie is so over the top gross." And then I watched this, and I was like, "No, that was grumpier old men in
Yeah.
comparison." Like,
It's so tame and palatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's fun.
Yeah. I knew this film has like 3 uses maybe
Yeah.
on this show, and
Mhm.
this was one of them. The other is if we did like goriest film.
splatter,
Sure.
Yeah,
splatter.
because
fest
Yeah.
I mean, it
stuff,
goes
yeah.
right up there with the Dead Alive with how
Yeah.
much, but it's just not as good as a film because the structure isn't as strong. Like
Right.
Ruka gets lost a little bit and it goes on too long.
It almost
Mhm.
feels like a collection of vignettes that are like
Right.
loosely tied together
Yeah.
at times, and then it comes
I
back
feel that.
around. But this movie would have been better
I feel like that
served
kinda
at
works,
an
like-
hour and 10 minutes,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know. But
I
Yeah.
almost feel like that kind of like in ways for me like worked against it because you're just like kind of almost feeling like there's no continuity to it, but at the same time like there is like a level of continuity, and at the same time like the ridiculousness of every scene I feel like is its own continuity.
It's
you know
just,
what I mean?
It's
Like
just
it
because
works.
it's so
yeah.
drawn out.
yeah,
Yeah, I can
Like
agree with that.
the scene, because the whole scene in the sex club is just to get a police officer infected with one of the key tumors.
Right.
That's the whole point of that scene.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So he infiltrates the police station and then shoots other police with his dick gun.
yeah.
That's the whole
Mhm.
point of that. But it just goes on for so fucking long.
It's 15 minutes when
Yeah.
or 10 minutes when it could have been 90 seconds.
Right.
Honestly,
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, it could have been a quick little scene. Yes,
Yeah.
and like the insane amount of dramatic pauses
Mm-hmm.
is just
Do you also
yeah.
think that it's like the time of like I mean granted it's not that old, but at the same time it was like early 2000s, you know what
Yeah.
I mean, like
Yeah.
versus now where I feel like our attention spans, I'm curious to see what the comparison would be.
Well, it's weird
of,
because
like,
now movies are longer. Like
Yeah.
every movie that comes out, every new horror movie, not every new horror
Not
movie,
everybody.
needs to be fucking 2 hours now. And
Yeah.
back then it was like, hour and 25, hour 35.
Mhm.
And this one, if it had all those pauses and it clocked in at like hour and 25, I'd be like, oh yeah, they stretched it to a feature length.
Mhm.
Mhm.
This is a fucking hour and 50-minute movie.
Mhm.
Right.
So it
At
was
that
a
point, yeah,
decision.
yeah.
At least with this though, like again, just because there is so much fucking crazy shit happening, you don't feel like it's drawn out for no reason. Because
No.
I mean, they're like, well, we have to show you the dick getting cut off. Like,
yeah.
you want to go home unhappy with that?
Yeah.
But like what you're saying about like the modern horror that we're seeing nowadays, like there are stretches where nothing fucking happens.
I know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like even
But
like
did you ever feel like it kind of goes either way? It's like either they like go with the trope of like, yeah, we're gonna like make this move, or they use those like pauses like for the effect in ways, and I think that's sometimes used a lot. You know what I
I
mean?
think they
So,
are
I
trying to
mean,
pause for effect,
you
but
know.
it's like, yeah, it just,
I'm not using that as a comparison for this one, but I'm just saying like
yeah.
right.
this one definitely.
It just feels, there's times where it feels a little awkward,
hmm
and it's just like, you didn't have to do that.
Right.
And it's like too
Yeah.
many consecutive pauses. And
Right.
Sure.
again, we are nitpicking a movie that is just obviously gives
Silly
zero
fun.
fucks what you think. You
I
know
feel
what
like
mean?
it just
yeah.
leaves
This movie
so
is get
much-
high and have fun.
Yeah,
like, don't,
yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
It's bad. I mean,
there
it's
could
right
be
on
a
the limb with,
drinking game for this one. I feel
Yeah.
like at some point.
yeah. Oh boy. I mean, I'm trying to think of a drinking game that wouldn't make you die.
Right.
Because like there's everything that happens 100 times. You know what I mean?
maybe like tiny sips, tiny
Yeah.
sips.
Yeah.
Like maybe you can have an actual drink every time there's genital mutilation. That doesn't happen
God.
You
as
still end up
much.
drinking 30 beers.
Right. Doesn't
Yeah.
happen as much, but it still happens.
Yeah.
But
So,
Yeah, I feel like any drinking game will kill you.
Yeah. Everything that they do 1000% forever.
Yeah.
In this
Yeah.
movie.
You know what? I think that's definitely very Ron Swanson of them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like
sure.
let's do things with our whole ass.
Yeah.
Thank you, Japanese horror.
Yeah. This is a whole ass flick for sure. Well, any other thoughts on Tokyo Gore Police? Would you? I mean, I would say check it out. It's free on Tubi, for God's sake. Check it out.
Genuinely, fucking watch it.
Preferably, get a little stoned.
Yeah, get fucked up.
Yeah, get fucked up.
Group of people, even.
Yes. Oh, for sure. Would be definitely more fun in a
Snacks.
group.
Make sure there's snacks.
Chips, dip, fucking ice cream sandwiches.
I like meats cheese.
Get.
I'm sorry, you threw me off there.
I'm just thinking about the things I love when I'm stoned. Ice cream sandwiches. Everyone sit there and eat like a whole bunch of Cocoa Krispies.
Cocoa Krispies.
Like,
Yeah, it's definitely it was I had a lot of fun watching it. But yeah, Kate was in the background going like, "The fuck are you watching right now?"
yeah.
Nightmares.
Yeah.
Splatter nightmares.
Do we want to commit right now to saying, you know what? Let's do Thanksgiving next week? Or do we wait till the week after?
I mean, we can. I'm not, solid
there-
one way or the other.
Because there are a couple Thanksgiving-ish horror movies and topics we could talk about in the weeks leading up to Turkey Day.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm cool. Let's do Thanksgiving. It's like we know, and we're busy people. We're bad planners. All the above.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
Let's go. So next week, tune in for us to discuss the cult classic and frankly a genuinely funny movie, if I remember correctly.
I think it's going to come off a little dated.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be some things that are like.
I do think there's some cringy comments and think that aren't the most 2021
Probably
appropriate.
Not, yeah.
But it is. I do remember laughing pretty hard on several occasions, and it is absolutely fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Movie called Thanksgiving, and listen, is there a more direct Thanksgiving horror movie? Maybe a couple other ones. We'll talk about
Thanksgiving 3.
Of course, Thanksgiving 3. Yeah, because it jumps right from 1 to 3.
Right.
Yeah,
They didn't do it 2.
Okay.
Which is great.
All right, cool.
Yeah, because I remember the first time I looked that up, I was like, "Oh, there's sequels." To this
2's
movie?
like we're blacked out.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
2 they forgot to record.
Right.
They acted it, they cast it, they did all the effects. They just forgot
No
the
film
camera.
in the camera.
Yeah,
No film in the camera.
Turns out there was no film in the camera.
No SD cards. No micro.
Nothing.
No micro tape. Nothing.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
All right. Well,
Party.
that being said, tune in next week and we'll talk about that rotten son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And once again, check out this week. You're going to see it on the Instagrams and on the Twitters. At Halloween is Forever on Instagram, at Hell Forever on Twitter, and then all those other things we talked about. But those are the main places where you're going to be voting for what our December Secret Santa Showdown is. I'm wielding
You need to
scissors.
fucking put these scissors down.
I'm
dude.
wielding scissors in a
Terrified.
dangerous way. I'm going to gouge my own eyes out.
I do have us-esque scissors that I feel like maybe you should just own.
I
feel like you need to like hang them
big
up in your
giant,
room
like
here.
the big giant
They're-
shiny
Giant
they-
ones.
golden
legit.
shears.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yee.
Jen Strang, her office was shutting down. I got them out of there. I'm like, they were like
Oh,
us.
so you
They're-
yoinked.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're
you
legit.
ganked some murder scissors.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I saw them. I'm like, mine. Thanks, guys.
Meg,
I'll take these.
Meg goes into other people's offices and,
Right.
and steals their shit.
Granted, the context is not correct. She was giving away a lot of office shit. I just saw
Are you
them.
moving? Are you going out of business? Meg will find things that she wants.
Can I just come in and hang around? Don't look at me. She walks out, pockets bulging.
Yin's having an estate sale. What? No.
No,
We're just
a
changing
place of
offices.
business. Yoink, run out.
Okay, this is mine. Thank you.
Well-known kleptomaniac, Peckerhead Meg.
Oh, bringing it back, bro.
Yeah, classic episode.
Classic.
Again,
How many
eating the
nicknames am I
disabled,
gonna have on this show?
We
You know?
have-
cutting off
we-
penises.
Yeah,
Like-
we have Peckerhead Meg. Oh man, we had another one last.
Yeah.
What was the last episode we had?
Horse
one?
girl Meg.
Horse
Horse girl. Oh my god.
Horse girl Meg.
If anyone didn't already see the additional pictures that I have provided
Of
to the
Meg
guys,
doing
I
horse
didn't
girl
know
stuff.
you were gonna use that clip.
This is the funniest
And then
clip, and it
I
didn't give
sent
anything away.
you-
Yeah.
So let's give people context. I sent you guys the photos after you're like, hey, there's a new promo video, and I'm just like, here you guys go. I'm gonna regret this, but I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
You know what?
The one of like
I had
12-year-old
friends
Meg in the
validating
tank
me.
top, like just holding the horse. It's the most
I know,
horse girl
and
picture.
I had two friends like post on my Instagram and we're like, "Oh, is a horse girl too?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's why we're friends." Okay, so I have my girls
She admitted it. She's
in
a horse
my corner
Yeah.
as horse girls.
Yes, but they said I was a horse girl
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
when you said we couldn't call you horse girl.
Team horse girl. Meg. So do you want
You know
when
what?
we eventually
I
do
accept
an
this
episode
fate.
where it's a tie and our social media friends need to break the tie, she's gonna lean into
Right.
Team Horse Girl. Hashtag
Yeah.
Team Horse Girl.
Yeah, I can see it.
Where are my horse girls at?
Horse girls unite.
Fast forward 3 years, we're doing a live show at like a horse show somewhere.
Oh my God.
We're like, God
We're at
damn
a
it.
fucking
For it,
rodeo.
Meg has sucked us into horse culture.
We're playing a county fair.
We're playing.
Like, I guess
what
we're
are the
doing horror
horse
movies at this
trading
county
days.
fair.
We're gonna do horse trading days.
We will go
Oh,
to horse
boy.
trading days. Steve doesn't even know about horse trading days. I
Oh,
don't think.
Zelianople.
Oh.
Let's go.
No.
All right. That I think is all we have for next week. Tune in when we talk about some spooky holiday stuff in the coming weeks here.
Yes.
Should be a lot of fun. So, for the Halloween's Forever crew, I'm Brian.
I'm Meg.
I'm Steve.
I hate you so much.
It's a bad horse impression.